What is going on YouTube? Today is a Wednesday pull day, so I will be going on over to the YMCA to get this lift in. So far my day's been pretty good. I hope you guys are doing the same. I've gotten a couple things taken care of productivity wise. Spent some time with my granddad and my sister, and gave my older sister a call because she's up in Maryland, so I don't get to talk to her very frequently. But yeah, she's a first responder, and she actually just busted her ankle up when she was on the job. Now she's out for an entire month. Kind of crazy. They I guess they're super tight with how they like green light people to go back to work after they've had an injury, which makes sense. You know, you kind of want, if anybody, you want your first responders to be locked in and fully functional, you know. So that makes sense in my mind, giving as much time off as necessary, you know. So that's good for her. I'm glad, because my mom and dad are actually going up to visit her, and they're going up there for a wedding as well. So that just works out well. You know, she gets to spend all that time with them and doesn't have to worry about working. You know, that's just best of both worlds, you know, in my mind. But yeah, anyhow, that's what my days look like so far. I'm also I've got these packages I'm shipping out. I've got one of them is an RMA, which is like, I don't know if you guys have ever had to do, like, I think it's return merchandise authorization or something like that, where it's for a computer part. Basically, if they send you a part that's dead on arrival, they'll replace it for you, which is nice that they do that. But also, you know, it's kind of a pain in the butt, because it takes like sometimes a couple weeks for them to get back to you and get the new part back to you, and that's even if they have the part in stock, you know. So, but I'm not going to complain too much as long as they take care of it eventually. It's not like a super time sensitive thing for me. The other things are a pair of shoes and some like a thermal printer for like a point of sale system. So some random knickknacks and whatnot. But you know, little things like that add up, and you know, I'm not going to scoff at 20 bucks here, 20 bucks there, you know. So and all I got to do is swing by a post office here and drop them off. You will get no complaints out of me from that. So, but yeah, today's workout, I was watching this one guy. He does calisthenics. It always seems like there's like Australian or British guys doing like calisthenics and stuff, and I'm always kind of like, I always kind of laugh at it, because they're always like ridiculously strong at the specific movements that they do. And that this guy, his dip was crazy. He was doing like crazy weight. He had like 4 plates strapped onto him for and they do singles and stuff, which is crazy. Like, I can't even imagine doing dips or pull-ups for like a single rep. That's like high intensity right there. Holy smokes. So anyhow, he was talking about like how he would always get strong on a movement, and then like by the time he got strong on it, he would like injure his shoulder or something like that, like a rotator cuff, or you know. And he was describing how the big muscles, like your lats and your pectoral muscles, get so strong when you train them relatively, you know, when you train your big muscles relative to the smaller accessory muscles that all do the supporting or the mobility of the joint, you know. And I don't experience this too much, but sometimes my shoulders after a push workout or on a heavy pull day, I will get some joint flare up and whatnot, which I have noticed before. So the fact that he pointed that out on specific movements like benching or pull-ups, you know, was kind of interesting that lines up with my anecdotal experience. So, but yeah, like I was mentioning, the shoulders are kind of like, I don't know, they're a very unstable movement, like I've mentioned in the past. So that's something that's always kind of resonated with me. But he was talking about like all the sorts of horizontal rowing, how that can that can really balance in all your big vertical pulls like pull-ups and stuff. And I think that's true. I mean, everything needs balance. I think most people do tend to neglect their horizontal rowing, and because the lats get targeted so much more efficiently with a vertical row, like a pull-up or a lat pull-down. And if you're going for just aesthetics, the big lats are like, that's what everybody thinks of when they think of a big back. I think of, wideness, you got the lats going. But yeah, kind of an interesting thought there. But so that's why I don't know, I go back and forth with how much volume I contribute towards horizontal versus vertical pulls. And I think it really depends on the actual phase that you're in as well. Like for me, I really am just trying to add more mass, period, but I don't want those imbalances to come through. So I think just enough volume to keep your shoulders and everything in balance and keep good posture from getting rounded shoulders or rounded back. I think that's how much volume you need, and that depends, I think, largely on how much you're doing for your vertical pulls. So I think if you're looking to just maintain, it should be just like 1-to-1 basically. Do just as much horizontal rowing or horizontal pulling as you do vertical pulling, which I'm not exactly consistent with this, but I think that's probably the safest way to say keep the balance. I mean, if you want things to be balanced, you're going to balance them out 1-to-1 for most things. So, and I think that is definitely applicable to the horizontal rowing as well, because it's so low impact for the most part. Because your upper back, if you're doing like face pulls or rear delt flies, something like that, it's such a smaller muscle group that you can honestly put more volume towards it effectively without impacting all your other muscle groups in terms of recovery and being able to push hard on them. So I really don't see too much of a downside at all to just throwing more volume at it, as long as you've got the time to do it. And obviously if you're on a cutting phase, you're not going to maybe not have as much energy to apply towards it. But if you are like in a gaining or maintaining phase, I think that would be awesome to add some more horizontal volume in there, because I think most people probably do neglect how much horizontal volume they've got in their workouts. So, but yeah, kind of an interesting thought, and I think we can garnish little bits of wisdom and information from lots of different videos that we watch or things that we experience in our own lives, So take of that what you will, and if you don't have any like shoulder impingements or any flare-ups on joints or anything, then I would say take this as a precautionary, just to balance, to make sure that your program is balanced, and that actually you'll be preventing any kind of imbalance or injury that you have coming up in the future, because why wait for that to happen when you can take small preventative measures now and set yourself up for success and getting big and strong in the future, So, but that's my opinion on that. But I'm gonna hop on into the gym here and get the lift started. So I'll see you guys here in just a moment.
At that and leave us alone. Leave us alone. Oh, let's talk about the good times. Leave us alone. Oh, let's talk about the good times. An endless fight when I flip that light, better run in hot cause I'm made like a hurricane. Search the skies cause I'm on the rise, tidal wave. Wind and rage and there's no escape. Run for cover, gonna take you under like a hurricane. Go! I was an underdog, then the gloves came off. They said I was fading fast, but I was fighting mad, cause I was built to last. Not a fly-by-night, I did a decade.
Well, folks, that marks the completion of another great pull day. I am pretty happy overall. It weight moved pretty well today, and certain lifts went up. So I put my the weight that I typically use for my heavier day, I'm now using that as my working weight for my higher rep day. So very happy about that. So I got 4 sets of 8 with 55-pound strapped up onto my body. So whatever my body weight is right now, like probably 165 or so, with the 55 extra pounds on there. So pretty happy about that. And then moved on to barbell rows, and those didn't feel exceptionally difficult today. Like I said, sometimes I get nauseous on them, and I wasn't really nauseous on them today, which was awesome. And then moving on to wide grip pull-ups, they felt pretty difficult today. I'm not gonna lie. I got through them, but they were definitely tough. And then wide grip chest supported T rows, I kept the weight the same this week because in my logbook I must have forgotten to write in the log exactly how much weight I moved last week, because it was all empty on that. So I was like, oh my gosh. So I think I got 4 sets of 8 last week, but this week I got 3 sets of 8 and a set of 9 on my last set, and then I did my drop set as usual, my Kelso shrug drop set, which I'm going to continue to do until science proves otherwise. They are always saying, oh, shrugs are kind of useless and whatnot, but it's so minuscule to do it at the end of a set, to just throw on a little extra weight and Kelso shrug it up, that I don't see any reason to not do it. You know, it's not injuring me. It's not really taking too much extra energy. So yeah, I'm going to continue to do that. And then shrugs and curls all moved about as usual. 4 sets of 8 on preacher curls, so no PRs there, but I did get PRs on the shrugs, which isn't anything crazy. I'm like, if you're not PRing on shrugs, then you got big problems, you know. So Shrugs are just one of those things where you can just keep adding more and more weight, you know. Your traps and your just whole body moving in the movement, you just load it up heavy, you know. At least the way I do it with like kind of power shrugs. And then finished it off with rear delts and hammer curls. And I will say the rear delts were feeling pumped today. They weren't like exceptionally difficult weight wise, but I just hit a wall when I got up to like around 12 reps or so. I was like, shoot, man, that is burning. The lactic acid was burning today, but I definitely hit the wall fast. You know, it's not like I stopped because it was painful. I stopped because I was like, I can't get another rep here, at least on my third and fourth set. That's how I want it to be. On my first and second, if I'm going for straight sets, I might leave like a rep or two in reserve just so that way I can finish out the last sets. But yeah, that's my idea on like straight sets. That's my mindset on it. At least that's how I've kind of always trained most movements. If I'm doing straight sets all the way across and not just pushing to failure on every set. So yeah, great workout overall. I will say, I don't know what it is, but I'm getting kind of like tension on the left side of my back here up into my neck. It might have something to do with like dehydration as well. I didn't get a ton of liquid in me today, and I wasn't sweating like profusely all day, but I was sweating a little bit all day. And it's when you get those like, it's when you're sweating just a little bit and your body doesn't quite perceive how much you're sweating, you know, because if you're drenching shirts, you're like, okay, I got to get some liquid in me. I got to drink some water, you know, get some electrolytes going. But when you're just like slowly seeping out stuff and you're sweating at just a little bit and it's all evaporating pretty quickly, that's when it's tough to perceive. And I think that's when it's easy to get dehydrated, at least here in Florida. So, but yeah, I'm going to get on back to the house. I got nothing left to do but just recover for the rest of the day. So I really should have no excuses for tomorrow's leg day. But I thank you all so much for watching this video. It means a lot. If you liked it, leave me a thumbs up, drop a comment with anything on your mind, and subscribe for more content just like this. Until next time, later.